All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So wanted to talk about the KULR earnings that I believe are over at this point, but nonetheless, they were happening live not too long ago. A bunch of people in the Discord were actually talking about it as it was happening. A couple screenshots that I'll go over. KULR One's been mentioned in the comments a bunch. There was a snapshot of the financials as well. So yeah, definitely a lot of eyes on the earning. All right. It's still a little early. Clearly, I see the after hours reaction. It's a relatively interesting candle, and you can see how low the wick has gotten. But look, after hours don't count in my book. You hear me say that often, all right? Sometimes it's a little too loud to ignore. I can't pretend that that's not true, but it's significantly different for so many reasons, right? And I'll go over those, but yeah, I'm gonna give you my thoughts for Monday, and really a lot of it is obviously being driven more by this early reaction than most of the good that's actually on the slide. And like, you can see the upward, right? Like it's I'm a technical guy and I'm gonna talk about this, right? So excited to talk about this. If we don't run too long, I'll throw in SOUN as well. I've been doing those 1, 2, 3. Maybe if there's a third, I'll do MVIS. I haven't talked about that one in a good while either, all right? But before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here, giving me your time, I am so grateful for it, all right? So let's get into it, all right? And look, I have said this so many times, and I'm going to start with this, okay? Earnings really is less about what you and me as educated people think, and it's way more about what the market reaction is, okay? I'm telling you, I used to be fundamental. There's a video like I made about my journey in trading, right? And yeah, I love my parents a lot. They gave me a lot of love, but yeah, they didn't teach me about the stock market. They didn't hand me these technical stacks, right? So I remember doing these like fundamental digs, and I remember like listening to earnings, and I've been there where I hear really good things. Again, I'm going to get to these shortly, but like, look at these, right? Like, again, I'm not going to go into the details, but that's good growth. That's good growth, right? That's a beautiful year over year revenue percentage, right? Like there's a lot of, I'm a human. I see those and I understand it, right? I'm not trying to overcomplicate it and pretend that those are bad, right? What I care about is the market reaction. And I don't really know how more to explain it than a big green candle or a big red candle, right? Like I say earnings are crazy across every stock, but look, I think the volatile swing of earnings becomes a little less drastic when you start talking about better stocks like, and I say better with love, right? But better stocks like NVIDIA, Meta, Microsoft, etc. These blue chip names, right? When you're talking about a company that's still proving itself, let alone a penny stock, right? But still a up and comer trying to be the best, right? You gotta believe there's gonna be some crazy swings up or down when it comes to earnings, all right? So I look for a big thing to say, yep, that's the market reaction right there. And so far, there we go, the post market is there. Look, there's definitely a decent recovery, and I'm not going to lose my place, but there was a little bit of excitement when we started getting into, because it just happened, there was a little bit of excitement when we got back into the 70s, and we are obviously still right there right now, right? But I'm going to say this again, and we'll get into the charts, but we need to break 0.78 by the end of after hours. 7.5 is going to be hard. If not, I can really seeing us head to 0.66. All right, and I'll talk about those lines and where I got all that shortly. All right, but this isn't beautiful. It really isn't, right? It's a double digit on the downside, right? So let's talk a little bit about the earnings, because again, you know me, I'm not here pretending. I did not listen to this. I love the fact that everyone shared all these slides. I obviously did look at these numbers, right? There was something that I thought I saw. Let me see if I see it here. I thought I saw I thought I saw something that the earnings per share did not actually do well. I thought the earnings per share did worse comparatively. I don't think I saw that anywhere. Maybe that was a quick headline I saw on my phone. But look, let me know what you thought about it. You know what I mean? Like, again, there's a bunch of slides, there's a bunch of opinions on it. I've talked about it. I believe battery safety is important. Batteries are used in so many different industries, and it helps KULR be very, very versatile in where they can like attack and gain their market share from, right? But again, end of the day, the reaction matters more than our simple opinions, right? So let's talk about the regular hour technicals, and then let's get into the actual day, right? So I mean the actual post-market earnings reaction. So it's interesting. There was a really good comment on the video that said, look, there shouldn't be a dump on Friday because the earnings is actually after hours. So the morning should be good and go from there. Because one of the things I said was Thursday is going to be the good day, and then Friday is where you're going to see the sell. Like come end of the day Thursday, most people are gonna get a little worried and probably bank, right? There was a comment in there that someone said that they were living in the 10 and 15 cents, right? So again, there are people that 8x this thing, let alone maybe 4x or 3x this thing, right? So there was plenty of places to take profits for a number of people, right? You always got to take that into consideration, even if you're not in those high numbers. When you're starting to jump into a runner, you need to be a little bit mindful of what others are making as well. Trust me when I say that, all right? So Thursday was the high day. Thursday was the day most people sold. Today there wasn't much of a peak up. There was a little bit of a scare down, but yeah, it makes complete sense to me that we get another doji, right? You know, I only talk about one candle shape, and it is the doji. The doji is uncertainty, and there is nothing more uncertain than the minutes before earnings. All right, whole mess of rumors, whole mess of assumptions, whole mess of this and that. Nothing matters till the CEO and the CFO get on the microphone and say their words, right? So that makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, it's interesting because I'm going to come into. Let's start talking about the post market and the earnings reaction. All right, so I actually even said, and I'm gonna it was a little bit after this. Look, price was holding very well. It was about an hour after earning or after market close, right? Friday is slow, and look, price holding was relatively good in my head. You know what I mean? And it held. It actually held for a little bit more than an hour, but right there, a single 15-minute candle really changed everything. All right, and as I'm looking at this 15-minute chart in the after hours, we are below all the moving averages. Now, we haven't necessarily confirmed, but yeah, the volume's not looking beautiful, right? And you can't really compare after hours volume to regular hours volume. Trust me when I say that, right? So I'm actually focusing a little bit more on that. And what I was saying was, look, we got to get over 78. We got to get over those two lines in the next couple hours. What time is it? Geez, yeah, there's about 2 hours left. Yeah, right up there. It's about 2 hours left in trading, right? So we need to close above 78. Otherwise, oh man, I think that's a little low. I don't think we'd come to a flat 60. Oh man, there's a decent shot at like 63 though. And obviously we've already wicked that, right? But goodness, even this thing is saying actually 60 though, right? But one thing I mentioned, and I'm still saying it, I think there's a really good chance that if this reaction is confirmed, there's a good chance we're coming down to the 20, if not even worse, all the way down to the 200. All right. So again, listen to the words that I'm saying. My opinion of the earnings does not matter. I didn't even listen to it for real. I saw some slides. I'll probably look at them a little bit later. I might not even look at them. I'll be honest with you, right? Like just the way I trade, I'm not here for earnings, right? If you're long and strong, I would love to hear what you think of the earnings. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, if you're long and strong, you've heard other earnings as well. You've been here during the good days and the bad days, and I would love to know what you think, right? 10,000%, all this volume and all this attention is a good thing, okay? I see two things, all right? Number one, there has never been this level of high and this level of sustained high volume, all right? There was a little bit something there. Clearly, it's microscopic compared to this, okay? The other important thing that I see is, look, there has been substantially more buying and holding than selling. Okay, do you see that, right? Like none of these red little baby candles of volumes outweigh even a single big one, right? So this 100 million shares on this single day, it was actually 124 million if you're looking exactly at the box, right? Almost 125. Most of them did not sell. Same thing goes for this other 100 plus day. Same thing for this one, right? Maybe these people right here sold as you look at the combination of all those other ones, but pretty much every other single one has pretty much held, right? So I love this accumulation story. It's real important that the dump off doesn't make me think that, oh my gosh, all these people that were accumulating are no longer doing that, right? So that's going to be a big part of Monday for me. It's actually going to be, I don't want to say less because it could be an interesting and maybe scary percentage if it goes down, but it's important to see what the sell-off looks like because, again, right now what I'm seeing, there's at least 300 million shares, basically these three candles right here, that were bought and are still being held. Like there's very little arguing to that, right? Like none of that wipes out 300 million shares purchased. So I'm interested to, and look, I don't think that's going to get wiped out in a single bad day. I really don't. That's going to be in 3x this volume, right? We'll see how it goes. Listen, the strongest supports that this thing actually has are 42 cents and then probably down here in the, like, let's call it 30 cents, okay? I think this is going to be a really strong support. I think it is very, very, very unlikely that we go this far. If we lose that, though, it might be a scarier drop than ideal, all right? But I think the immediate numbers to think about are going to be basically 56, 47, and then 42, okay? Again, if in the next 2 hours we can close above 78 cents, I think there might be a chance that the reaction was fake and we go to 92, all right? I don't know if I'm thinking $1 plus right now, all right? I think if the reaction was just a little bit different, I would think otherwise, but yeah, I think it's a little bit difficult, but hey, you know, I definitely could be wrong, you know that, right? So let's take a look at the 15-minute chart one more time. I mean, it's trying, but yeah, I'm seeing this 8 moving average come down a little more than I'd like to. Again, nothing's really going to matter until we get over that 78 cents. I think that's still an easy thing to hold. Let's look at the hourly as well. What's that big line? 72. No, that's okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you see anything else. Let's take a look at SoundHound. All right, let's do this really quickly. All right. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe, if you can please share. Let's take a look at SoundHound, and there's a couple interesting things to talk about outside of SoundHound real quick. All right, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA was playing a little bit of a dancing game, and it kind of still is. All right, now I'm zooming out. I'm actually still zooming out if I'm not mistaken. No, let's just do it from here. That's okay. You can honestly almost do it from like this 200 move, but it's okay. Let's do it from right here. So there's a good little consolidation, and then all of a sudden we break out, right? And during this breakout, we are bouncing on the 8 like a champion. We use the 20 right here. We use the 20 right here. We use the 20 right here. And when I say use, I just mean we needed to hit it and go back up, hit it and go back up, hit it and go back up. It didn't really happen on this one so well. We almost came to the 50, and you can kind of say the 50s, you know, aura kind of helped us, right? Let's go to regular hours, because regular hours is what we care about. Right now, there's this little dancing game of what's going to happen with the 50 and with the 20 and the 8, you know, and I'm glad nothing extreme is happening. I'm glad it's actually holding all right. But yeah, volume's a little bit low here, and we're starting to see, you know, not the prettiest divergence on the MACD. Now look, the number's 13, right? So there's a good little distance between here and the negative, right? And you know, this and that. I'm not necessarily here screaming panic, but this wasn't as fantastico as it used to be, for lack of words, right? So, you know, I think NVIDIA is something to take note, even if you have no money in NVIDIA and you're only in SoundHound, right? From there, look at the Russell, all right? So this is the ETF. This is the ETF of the Russell, the IWM. I'm seeing a death cross. The 8 is under the 20. It looks like the 8 might death cross the 50. It looks like it's going to go under it. Again, you want a golden cross where they go above them, not below them, okay? Doji bad candle. And look, that's not a big percent, but that's a bad enough candle for me to actually say, I think we've lost the 50 moving average. Now, I'm glad that the 100 is right there, so it's not like much worse can happen. And hey, hopefully we hit this and actually bounce up, right? But the Russell is not doing well. The NVIDIA powerhouse of the AI sector, let alone the technology stocks and indices, is a little bit shaky. I think Russell looks a little scarier than NVIDIA does. And then NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ's same little shakiness that I think you can kind of say looks like NVIDIA, right? We were doing these good bounces, not as clean as NVIDIA, but again, you get it, right? I'm glad that the 50 is not a lot lower than it is. So, hey, if anything, you know, the 50 is right there. But yeah, losing that 50 could be scary, okay? So this is a SoundHound section. Believe me when I say that, right? But there are a lot of things not looking pretty outside of SoundHound. And that has me worried, let alone what we're seeing here, right? So I always say it, you need to look around, right? Like, even if your money is 100% here, you need to see the auxiliaries of what you're investing in just to like get an idea of how things look, right? And again, this doesn't look like the best of technicals. I've kind of said that on the last number of videos, right? I do think, sorry to zoom in and out so much, that this line right here, that $4 basically, $3.98, whatever, a couple pennies, the $4 line is the strongest support we got. I do. I think this might actually supersede these two moving averages, but let's be honest, this 100 moving average seems like it's a little bit away. I don't know if it's going to catch up to that or not, but maybe it does, actually, because there are a couple gap ups and silly things, so maybe it does kind of do some. So again, I don't know the math behind that line, right? But this seems like a strong line, and we're making our way here. I haven't seen any more details about that stock that they want to issue. Again, if you watched my last video, I don't mind that. What matters is the details. And look, this used to be a roughly $2 stock. So if we're selling something around 3, around 4, oh my gosh, around 5, lovely, right? I would love for it to be above this 4 line, because again, I think this is a really strong support, and I think if the offering does reflect that, it would be a good thing for that too, you know what I mean? But I don't mind issuing more shares. I really, really don't. You never hear me talk about float. There's nothing here that shows that there's X number of shares and then I'll see it go up. Like, the up and down of the shares means nothing to me, right? I know a lot of people do it. I'm not saying it should mean nothing to you, right? If it's part of your strategy, I hope you use it well, right? But yeah, I'm still saying we come to 4. If we lose 4, I think we're going to lose the 100 moving average really quickly and probably come back to 3. The great thing is we're still I'm only talking about 3. I'm not even talking about $2, which is essentially what we've been talking about for a while, right? So many of the longs and strongs are still loving even a $3 number, and that's kind of a relatively longer term worst case, right? Like I do not see it going like that, right? Like this should be a very, very strong 4 line. If the 100 could catch up to it, that would actually make it that much better and maybe a bounce point, right? So yeah. All right, let's do it. I'm going to look at MVIS real quick. Let me know if I've missed anything here. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Again, there's not a lot of good going on in SOUN. I kind of said that for the last bit, especially once now that it seems like the 50's gone. Nothing's really been confirmed on the 50. Let's at least say that. Bad candle, good candle, bad candle. Nothing's been confirmed just yet, right? But I don't like that we're under the bad candle, right? Like obviously it was up here, which would be even better, but we're actually even below where it opened yesterday, right? So we're just a couple cents below, but enough for me to say, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let's come into MVIS. Oh man, dang. There's not, I mean, there's not a lot of good happening here, all right? I mean, I don't know. Okay, hold on real quick. Look, if you can subscribe, if you can please share, it does wonders, all right? I know no one wants to hear real bad things about a stock that they're in. I would rather someone say honest opinions than just rah, rah, rah good news, all right? So it's been a while since I've covered this stock. These are not new lines. I haven't looked here in a quick minute, actually. I'm zooming out real quick. Let me delete all these lines. There are a lot of lines. We'll redraw some if we need to. So we're definitely nowhere near all-time lows, right? I just wanted to see what things look like. Where are we to like that peak? We're under that peak, but we're still over that. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about a couple things. Simple. You know it. If you've watched my videos before, you break all 5, you fly, you lose all 5, you die. All right. This thing has been under all the moving averages. I mean, essentially since that big spike that I remember covering and loving, right? Nothing got much better since this August losing moment, right? That was the moment we lost them all. There was a little bit of a run there. Obviously could never get back over the 200 moving average, and then from there, I mean, we've just come back here, right? The worst of it was, again, like I said, we're now looking at another lose them all and die moment, right? So dude, there's not a lot of good things I can say. I kind of wish I didn't cover this. I don't want to say I feel bad, but it seems like we're coming here. Let me zoom out. Yeah, I mean, I think I'll take it to that. I think that's going to be, oh, that's where we're sitting. So where we're sitting right now is the first horizontal moment since IPO, right? Oh, it wasn't. It was just since that view. But yeah, that's still a good line. You can see that on the weekly, it hits a bunch of points. Interesting. All right, cool. I'll take that. That's all I got to see from here. All right, I used that right there to draw the line, and clearly you can see that's where we're at right now, right? If we lose that, right, that's where we would come next. I would see 96 cents as next. Dang. And then it's that. And then it's 57 there. All right. There are no lines I need to draw up. Okay. These are the lines up. Nothing good's going to happen until we can get to maybe 177. I think 177 is the money line to put maybe a good like $2 target to it. All right. I think it's going to be very difficult to get over 2, let alone the 100 and the 200, whatever those numbers are. I don't even really need to say them, right? But yeah, I think there's a lot of worry about sub-dollar, let alone deep into sub-dollar, all right? Where are we on the weekly? Yeah, look, you're under all of them on the daily, you're under all of them on the weekly. That's a rough chart right there. Look, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if there's any like dates or earnings or anything that like, people are excited for coming up. But yeah, the charts have nothing good to talk about. Hey, thank you so much for your time. All right. Thank you. Thank you.